Hello, soul sister. We're back for another wonderful episode, and I have Brad Dalton in the house. Brad, so good to have you here.
Man, I am excited to get some Junie Moon in my diet.
That sounds a little scary.
No,
Like, woo! Scary or enticing.
Freaky deaky, and we're just trying to put all the different areas to freaky deaky into this one episode.
There you go. There you go. And I can't tell you how much I have been looking forward to this episode. Brad and I met just a couple of months ago, and I was on his podcast, and it was like, oh my God. I mean, if there was a way to measure the energy between us, I think if we bottled it, we would have changed the world.
Yes. Amen.
Yeah. So I'm thrilled to have you here. You know, Brad has some wicked skill set around positivity and how to stay on the positive train, as he calls it. But let me tell you about him first. He has more than 2 decades of experience serving others, raising leadership lids, helping others climb onto the positive train, and creating the best versions of themselves. In his journey, he's learned the lessons of leaning into struggle, soaking up the positives, and understanding what the success road looks like. Brad has a soft spot in his heart for all individuals, starting from the ground up, and even more so for those being overlooked because they aren't deemed typical. Where were you when I was a teenager and I was like, I'm so different, I'm so weird, nobody likes me?
I was probably right next to you.
Yeah. Did you have challenges when you were a kid?
Definitely.
Yeah.
It definitely hasn't been smooth sailing, but yeah, we learned from those things.
So tell us a little bit about that. Like, was there like a defining moment or something that came into your life that you're like, oh, I can be on the positive train. I can feel differently than how I was feeling before.
Right. Well, I mean, as a young buck, I mean, like everybody else, I wanted friends. I wanted to be liked, and I'm fortunate. I'm fortunate I didn't do anything incredibly stupid to completely derail me, because I probably would have done it if offered. I just wanted to be liked. I just wanted friends. And it was a massive struggle for me. So I was the poster child for imposter syndrome. I was trying to fit into a bunch of places that didn't want me. And frankly, I probably didn't belong. And in hindsight, why would I want to? But I didn't know that in the moment. And for me, man, I was just fortunate. It's one of those deals where we assimilate to whom we associate. And I stopped trying to associate myself with people that didn't appreciate what I brought to the table. And when I started surrounding myself with people who got it, who appreciated what I brought, I mean, everything started turning for me. And I'm never going to reach it. Like, I'm never going to reach that. I don't ever want to reach that. I always want to be in a state of becoming, but I definitely started trending in a direction that was going to allow me to create more abundance, create more relationships, create more for my community. So I don't know if there was one moment, but it is really when I decided that I wasn't going to try to be something I'm not.
So many people struggle with that. And I can see why you and I, are jiving so much, because it's such a similar story. And so many suffer trying to fit in. That's the old brain kicking in, kind of going, I don't want to get kicked out of the tribe. How can I survive? And how can I be liked? And so many people bring that into their adulthood, and they keep still playing this out, especially in relationship. It's like, how can I shift, change, look different, be different, put on that mask so that maybe someone will accept me for who I am. And yet they're not really revealing who they are because they're so afraid that somebody might judge them or think they're less than.
Right.
Yeah.
Have you heard the coffee bean story?
No. Oh, I tell me again, because I know I read it. I forgot it, but I read. Oh, tell me again.
There's a couple different versions. Here's my version. And so there's the story of this coffee bean. First off, you've got a boiling pot of hot water, like scalding hot. And then you've got an ice cube, you've got an egg, and you've got a coffee bean. And the boiling water represents adversity, represents just tough friction, tough conversations, inconvenience, all these things. Well, if you put an ice cube in a boiling hot water, it's gonna melt, right? It's
Yeah.
gonna fold like a cheap tent. It's kind of just soft. And then you got an egg. Well, the egg, from the outside looking in, it looks totally fine. Like same general shape, same general color, all that stuff. But what we don't know about the egg is that that's all just a front. It's just a front. It looks all right, but on the inside, it's hardening. It's hardening. And you can't be a soul-based leader. You can't be a love-based leader. You can't become the best version of you when you're hardening on the inside. And then you got the coffee bean. And we want to be the coffee bean. I'm not actually a coffee guy. I'm a tea guy. But man, if you talk, are you a coffee girl?
I love coffee. I have to be mindful of it being a menopausal woman, but I do love my coffee.
Oh, you love it. And you know that, like, if you talk to a coffee person and man, you stick that one coffee bean in that boiling pot of hot water, man, it makes everything better. It smells better, and it inspires all. I mean, that one bean makes everything better, smell better, taste better. Everything's better. And so we want to be the coffee bean, but it sounds like you and I are similar. I was an egg for so long.
Yeah. Let me look good. Let me look like I'm strong, that that I have my shit together.
Yeah.
And inside I was suffering so much.
Yeah. It really stinks, because generally speaking, eggs are really good people. They are eager to please people. They care, they feel because they care. Like, these aren't bad people. These are good people. They're going about things the wrong way. They're going about in a way that they're going to be on that hamster wheel their entire life until they make a decision that their best is good enough.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Take a breath into that, sister. That's so spot on. So spot on. And so here we are, women in the second half of life, and they're bumping up against some adversity. They're online, they're scared. And so here you and I have been against some of these challenges. And even your son, I mean, you have a son that's autistic, that has created some adversity, I'm sure, within you. How have you stayed on the beam of positivity with what you've just shared and with what's come up with your son as well?
Well, yeah, my son was diagnosed as being on the autism spectrum when he was 3, and I'm a very outgoing guy, and I love athletics. If you and I were at a wedding reception, Junie Moon, we would be in the middle of the dance floor slaying, just having such a good time. That's me. So when my kiddo got diagnosed as being on the spectrum, that was a really tough one to swallow for a short while. But what it's taught me so much. There's really only one way to look at these kind of things, and it's forward. What happened 15 seconds ago, 15 minutes ago, 15 months ago has no bearing on what's going to happen for me moving forward with my mindset. Now, certain things are tough, right? You just don't get over certain loss and certain trauma. It's not as easy as it sounds, obviously. But for me, I learned with him in particular that the only way he was going to have the best life possible was if I focused on what we're going to do moving forward. And it's really a life thing. I mean, if we want to create the best version of ourselves, I mean, our best conversations haven't even happened yet. Our greatest ideas are the ones that haven't even gotten there yet. Like, greater is coming for all of us. Greater's coming. I feel like I got an 8-pack rocking right now just thinking about it. And I get so excited. I mean, the greater is coming for all of us. So your audience, a lot of them are probably stuck and in transition and scared. And what that means to me is they may just be dangerously close to human.
Ah,
I don't know anyone that has. If you say that you haven't felt any of those things, then you're the egg.
yeah, I get it.
We all feel those things.
Yeah.
You're normal. Like these things that you're feeling, you are a normal person.
I think that's so important that you're saying that, because it takes the shame off. I mean, people that are like, oh, I'm an egg, or, oh, I'm so focused on the past. I love the concept of forward thinking, but I was betrayed. I was left. I'm scared. And it's all here. And yet there is this forward thinking. The best is yet to come. It's in front of you, the mystery, what's possible. And it's funny when you say, what did you say? Is what's coming? The what's coming? Did you say
Greater is coming?
Greater is coming. Yeah. And when you said that, my first thought was winter is coming, right? The whole Game of Thrones, winter is coming. And where we put our mind, we could be thinking winter is coming.
Yeah.
In the second half of life, I'm going to be alone. No one's going to love me. I'm going to be judged. Or you can do some work, empty out, and get on that positive train and go, wait, the best is coming. What's possible? I don't even know. Might I put the energy there? Greater is coming. So there is that catching ourselves of where we put our minds. And in that moment, we have more choice. And I'm just curious if you could speak about that, because mindset and getting on the positive train versus being derailed can happen to all of us on a regular basis. Any tips on how to really stay true to our dreams and our passions without getting stuck?
Sure. Well, one, I would stop focusing on things and start focusing on habits. I would stop focusing on doings and start focusing on becomings. I would stop creating so many to-do lists and start creating more to become lists, because those are all things that are inside out. Those are all things that are sustainable. Those are all things that can get stuck in your heart forever positively. Those are all things that are also going to not only help you, me, and we, but those things are all going to help our community. I mean, sometimes the most selfless thing you can do is to get a little selfish. And so we have got to start taking care of ourselves. A lot of these people, again, you, me, and we, they're focused on a lot of things that have nothing to do with becoming the best version of themselves. And I've found that in my life, one, I know that I have the DNA of a winner. You, me, and we all have it. We have winner running in our veins. We were all born with a gift. We all have a gift. We were born with a gift. They're our own unique gift. We all have our own unique soul print in life. But I think when you focus on things that are 6 inches between our ears, I think when you focus on stuff that's heart-centered, I think those things transform your life. That helps you. We're all going to visit Pity City. We're all going to have
you have the greatest sayings.
We're all going to play the victimitis card at some point. Like that's going to happen for all of us. It's inevitable. We're all like best leader is an imperfect leader. We're all imperfect. So it's going to happen. But when you are a person that's focusing on the things and creating lists and creating thought concepts like the one we're talking about right now, you're not going to stay in Pity City. You can visit there. You'll dip your toes in those waters. You'll get there. Bad crap happens. Stuff happens. Stuff that you couldn't have possibly imagined is going to happen. It's crummy. But if you have the kind of, if you're always focusing on the things that we're talking about, you're not going to stay there. So it's unrealistic to think that these things won't happen. It's unrealistic to think that, these thoughts and these emotions that your audience may be going through right now, it's unrealistic to think that they won't ever happen again. They will happen again. But it's like this in life. Like when someone gets married, they didn't fall in love the day they tied the knot. When someone wins a job, they didn't win the job the day of the interview. They won it with their prep leading into it. You win by establishing an incredible relationship with yourself before you get in these moments. So it doesn't erase your pain, but it makes your stay a lot shorter. This don't have to be a staycation, sister.
Yes. No staycations unless we choose to, but let's not choose to have that one.
No.
All right. DNA of a winner. You're talking about our uniqueness, our specialness, and the fact that shit happens and we don't know when it's going to come, but this internal living our best life within. Tell us a little bit more about the DNA part. Like what is your definition of a winner? What's your definition of success? Tell us more.
It's really, I would love it if I had a super sexy answer for you, but the sexy part is just who you've become. DNA of a winner, you're a winner when you're comfortable in your own skin, being the best version of you. Everything that I tie to being a winner ties to being like a servant leader, ties to being into the double win being by adding value to others, you also in turn add value to your own life.
Yeah.
It ties into being selfish, getting selfish and taking care of you. So those are just a few elements that go into being a winner, and we all have it running in our veins. It's a choice.
Yeah. You talk about being selfish. I've spoken on this. I call it healthy selfish. So many people are afraid of being selfish. It's a common thing. It's like, oh, but I don't want to look like that. I don't want to have people think I'm selfish. And I'm like, you need to be selfish. You need to focus on yourself and fill up your own cup. Know the value you have. And the fact that anyone even is thinking, oh, I don't want to look selfish, you already have it in check. You're already going to be mindful that you're not going to forget others. This is about self-care and really being able to cultivate those inner resources. Because when you do, you really can give so much more. Right.
Well, those who get it. Those who get it, they're already doing this. Yeah. They're already investing in themselves, and they understand that the best investment you could ever make is the one in yourself. And so they get it. It's like anything in life. You worry about what other people are thinking, but the people who are already just living abundantly and just crushing life, they've already gotten this. They're doing this. We're just a little bit behind, but the cool thing is the first step is the first step, and we can take our first step today. Today's a great day to be great.
Yeah. First step, today can be that day. I also, when I think about selfish, and I've told people this, when you give to others, it is selfish because you feel so great.
Sure. Oh,
how amazing is it? I must be the most selfish person on the planet because I really love seeing people transform and enjoy their lives. And I love to give. I love to see smiles and people really put a stake in the ground and go, oh my God, I just met this most amazing man. However, people still are in that mindset of, I really want to, they're outside thinking. They're still worried about what other people are thinking. This is what we're talking about. And I'm just curious, is there one tool that you've come up with? Because there's this, I love everything you're saying. It's get rid of the to-do list and work on the inner world and give more and be of service. And when somebody is down, and I'm just going to throw it into, your life, when I can't imagine that you're like this all the time. Would you say you're Mr. Positive all the time?
No, I don't. No.
Thank you. And neither am I. And I own it. And yet there are certain things that I do that when I was like, oh, I'm in that place. I'm feeling vulnerable. I'm kind of imploding. I'm feeling really sad. I'm scared. It's like I can choose to kind of be with it because I think it's important to feel what we need to feel. But then I kick on some Michael Franti and I dance down the road, and I shake my booty and maybe call a friend or walk in the woods. And so I'm just curious when it comes to shifting mindset to be that winner mentality, is there something that someone can do when they're kind of going, I don't feel like a winner. I feel like a loser. I'm, 60 years old and I've never even been in a long-term relationship. I don't think I can have it. And they're focused on all the stuff in the past.
Sure. Well, one, success isn't a destination. Success is the road. All right. So success isn't the end of the road. Success is the road. And we have to become big picture thinkers. It really is a mindset. We have to see the big picture. Right now is already over. I just spit out that last sentence and it was over 5 seconds ago. I'm not going to get caught up in what happened then. I'm going to get caught up in the best version of me moving forward. So I do think that's the most important thing. But, some of the things you listed, gratitude walks, and I'm a big journaler. I know that journaling for some doesn't seem real sexy, and journal doesn't have to be super long. And you don't even need to have a long journaling session. You just need to start somewhere. If that means you go for 30 seconds and then you put the pen down, then good. Give yourself some grace. That is certainly a great start. And even if you feel like you don't even know what to talk about, just start writing. Mm-hmm. Just start writing. Just let it out. And like I said, it doesn't have to make sense to anybody but you, me, and we. It doesn't need to make sense to anybody. Again, we're not going to get caught up in what other people think of us. It's not their journal. And it's not the 6 inches between my ears. Nobody gets to go inside that without my permission.
Yeah.
And so journaling, gratitude walks, being leery of how we're talking to ourselves. A lot of us, we're creating a story that doesn't even exist. Yeah. A lot of times fear is just a story that we're creating based off previous experiences. Where fear's something that hasn't even happened yet. Like you've never opened someone's dome once they passed away and saw fear. Like you've never seen it. And, Duke University came out with a study years ago where you literally can't feel blessed and stressed at the same time. You can't feel both at the same time. It is a choice. Now, is it that easy? Is there crappy stuff that happens? 100% yes. But it's a choice. It is a choice. I can choose to put this on paper. I can choose to talk to myself the way that I deserve to be talked to. I can choose to go on walks. I can choose to just meditate. I can choose to sit silent. For me, breathing. I don't have any sexy methods. I just literally, sometimes I put on some music that's just super duper chill. Sometimes and different music, like literally different types of music, stuff that I feel moves me. And I just sit silently and I close my eyes and I breathe. And, there might be the person out there, so man, I can't even sit still for 10 seconds. Well, the best meditators in the entire world will tell you that they're not even on task between their ears 30% of the time. So it's totally possible. Anything is possible if we just give ourselves a chance. You're stuck. Yes. You're in transitions. Yes. You're fearful. Yes. You've been burnt. Yes. But you know what you also are? You're a fantastic freaking human being. And you deserve greatness. You deserve the life of a winner. You have it running in your veins. We deserve these things.
Oh my God, there's so much there. So much there. I think the biggest thing that I'm getting from our conversation today that I'm so deeply grateful for is you speaking to that it's a journey. It's not like some end point, and that we are having a human experience, and to have some gentleness around it, because there are challenges and we do have choice. And one of the things, I don't know, I think it was in the last handful of years, I don't remember when, but I was like, I can actually do anything I want. Like, I really can. Like, if I wanted to just pack up right now and just drive somewhere, I can. We have responsibilities, we have choices, and there's things like that. But at the end of the day, if I want to journal and bitch and moan or do it, it is my journey, my path. And no one really, like Wayne Dyer, what other people think is none of my business. But as long as I'm in somebody else's head, I'm fucked. I'm totally screwed. Right. And that was most of my life. So I love that you're talking to the compassion for our journey, and that we do have choice, and to watch our thoughts. I was in yoga class this morning, and I have some physical limitations right now. And I don't know, it was like maybe 40 minutes into the yoga class, and I was like, I was like, my leg is hurting. I can't do that position. It's like, why am I here? I just want to get out of here. I instantly caught my thoughts. And I was like, well, I can keep bitching and moaning because I'm staying for the whole class. Right. Or I could be like, oh my God, I get to be in this yoga class. I get to see what my body can do and heal. And like it shifted just in that moment of catching, I'm bitching and moaning. And there's some real truth around the pain I'm in right now. But at the same time, I'm like, but oh my God, like I get to do this in this beautiful studio when I want to, like, and that gratitude just was a whole new world.
You know, can I add a couple things there?
Please.
That was awesome. Again, I feel like who needs freaking CrossFit when you got Junie Moon in your diet? I
just took a sip of water. I was like, oh God, it's going to come out of my nose.
I saw that. I couldn't even talk. I was waiting for it to come out.
You were hoping. I know you were. I would have been like, got her to like spout.
I love, you know, the thing is, you asked me, am I always positive? No, we all have our moments. And like I said earlier, do I stay there? Do I stay in pity city? Do I stay on the negative train? No. But I also know that I'm not going to roll out of bed at 10 every day. I'm going to be an 8 when I roll into the office some days. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to be 100% of that 8. That's where I'm going to be. I'm just going to be the best version of me. The best version of me is not going to look like the yesterday version. I don't know what tomorrow's version is going to be like. I know right now I'm an 8, and I'm going to be 100% of that. And the cool thing about, you know, you mentioned leadership lids earlier in the intro. The cool thing about our leadership lids, the cool thing about mentality, positive thinking, just our lives in general, it can fluctuate. Now, someone maybe on the negative train will say, yeah, it could fluctuate down. But man, I'm not thinking about it. I'm thinking about how good my life could freaking be if I let it fluctuate up.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to that's one thing I've learned with my kiddo on the spectrum is you've got to give him the best life possible. I've got to meet him where he's at. I also learned that not everyone's typical is the same. And early on, I talked about his typical, he's non-typical, but you know what? We all have our own typical. We're all non-typical. We literally all have our own fingerprint, blueprint, soul print. We're all uniquely, abnormally awesome.
Yeah, I love that.
Let's just meet ourselves where we're at. Let's meet our people where we're at. And like I said, if that's an 8, that's an 8. If it's a 10, it's a 10. You know what? Today is a crummy day. I'm sitting at a 4. Well, I'm going to freaking crush that 4. And, you know, I know from my experiences with the people I work with and with myself, if I focus on crushing that 4, just being the best version of that 4, it's going to elevate to a 5. I'm going to fluctuate in a way that's going to have impact on me and everyone I care about today, because I chose to just meet myself where we're at. Understand that my typical is not like everyone else's typical. And I don't need anybody's permission to give myself grace, to be positive, to be soul-based, to love myself. I'm going to love up on myself today. I'm going to love my community. These are things I can control. And so that's what I'm going to do. I heard you talking there, and I had to get after it.
That was so beautiful. It was just so beautiful. Yeah. I'm just going to like leave it right there. That was just amazing. So, Soul Sister, how would you like to talk to this dude? I get the privilege to talk to you. He's got a free discovery call that he is offering you. You want to tell them a little bit about what that might be like if they give you a shout out? You
bet. Oh, well, man, if I would be tickled pink if I got a call from anyone in Moon Nation circle. But yeah, I would just, 20-minute call, just an opportunity for me to be an awesome listener. There's no sales pitch in there. It's just me getting to meet you and see what you're all about, and just being a fantastic listener. And then that's it. I mean, if there's something beyond that you would like to talk about, great, but zero expectations outside of the fact that I get the opportunity to meet you.
You are a man of service, a man of heart, and doing such beautiful work in the world. I am so deeply grateful to have connected with you. I adore you. And yeah, thank you so much for your time. This has been so special.
You bet. I love this relationship. I'm so fortunate to have bumped into you and crossed paths. I'm thankful. Thank you so much.
Oh, so true. So true. All right, Soul Sister, that's our episode for today. You know the drill. Like it if you got some value. Share it with your soul sisters, the people that might be looking backwards instead of thinking what's possible for their future, and give Brad a call. How could you not want to talk to this dude? Hop on his train.
Yes.
And then find your own train. So until we meet again, mwah.